Hello, my name is Jessica Mullen. I teach 8th grade math and algebra. Today I will be talking about Venable's Data Action Model. The Data Action Model is a way for teachers to use student data to guide better instruction in the classroom. Before this class, I didn't often analyze data in a useful way in order to drive my classroom in a successful direction. I'm excited to start this new year using data. The first step in the Data Action Model is to have all teachers involved in your PLC to provide data from their classroom. Once briefed about all of the data, the group carries out a notice and wonder protocol. Without much communication, each person comes up with I notice statements about each set of data. Following the I notice statements, they are to create I wonder statements that derive from any of the I notice statements already made. Finally, the team has to create an exploratory question. The team uses that EQ to find more data and focus the rest of the data meetings. Now that a question has been established, teachers find data relevant to that question for their next meeting. It is important to note that no fixing has been addressed yet. The first part is strictly finding data and focusing on a problem. Data meeting number 2 begins with looking at all of the new data that members have brought. This meeting is strictly for triangulating data. The group will use an artifact tracking sheet, and the team records all data and determines if it shows instructional gaps or learning gaps. The sheet also ranks from relevance and significance to prominence. In data meeting number 3, the group looks at the same artifact tracking sheet that they had last meeting. They are to decide which artifacts are most important based on the learning gaps and instructional gaps. The purpose of looking at the gaps is to find the learning and instructional gaps that are connected, and after looking at all of that, the teachers then have to set a goal. This goal is what will guide your instruction in the last meetings. It doesn't have to be a SMART goal, but I think they're very helpful and specific to use. Once a goal is set, your team has to decide how you will measure that goal. This is called the evaluation metric. In the first 3 meetings, teams have worked with data to figure out what they want to change. The last couple meetings will finally be focused on the doing and the implementation. Before the team meets for data meeting 4, all teachers involved need to come up with activities, strategies, or lessons that are different than what they normally would do in their classroom. The first part of meeting 4 is spent sharing all of the new strategies that teachers have found and come up with. Not all activities will be as significant as others, so the group uses a planning protocol rubric to rate each strategy. The group fills out the action plan tracking sheet with the highly significant strategies first. This gives each teacher a plan for what they're going to change in their classroom and how. After data meeting 4 is over and a plan is set, teachers have to take time to use the plan in their classrooms. Venables suggests that a data action model takes about 9 weeks to complete. Throughout the implementation time, teams still have to meet and collect student work in order to monitor that the action plan is being carried out, and they also have to decide if the strategies are helpful. Having student work is very important to guide the groups through changes in the implementation period. Data meeting number 5 is the final part of the action model plan. The meeting starts with the team deciding whether they have met their goal or not. 2 questions that Venables gives ask if the learning gap is still there or if the students are performing any better. If the answer to those questions were yes, then you can start your data model all over again with a new topic. If your answer to those questions were no, you could stop with that goal and come up with a whole new one, or you can continue your efforts using the same exploratory question and goals. If you decide to do that, you need to have a data meeting number 6. In this meeting, you would gather more evidence to decide why your goal failed. This would include student work and more data. You would triangulate the data again to decide what happened, and you would start a new goal and decide a new evaluation metric to measure. After that, you would have another data meeting number 7. You would review your new strategies that you have come up with, new from the ones you have tried before. You will come up with your planning protocol, and then you will create a data action plan to implement. You will have another implementation period so that the students can try all of these new strategies, and then you will come back and meet at the end to ask yourself the same questions. If the learning gap is still there, or if the students are performing better. I learned a couple of things about myself throughout this whole model. A strength that I have found in my work was being able to find new strategies and activities for the data action plan. The action plan tracking sheet helps me pre-plan how to use these strategies in my room. An area of growth for me would have to be deciding instructional gaps. I find it very uncomfortable to talk about things I'm not doing well. I have to keep in mind that students learn very differently, and my job is to do what is best for them. Thank you.